So now, after that inspiring talk, we turn to another pillar of India's progress. What else? It's education and skilling. With our demographic dividend, the question is not just about creating jobs, but about preparing young people with adaptability, resilience, and purpose. This panel will dive into how new age solutions can shape a future ready India. Please join me in welcoming our panelists. Mr. Amit Prasad, the CHRO at Hettich, India, and Director, Hettich Poddar WoodWorking Institute. Ms. Charu Babbar, Lead Learning Design and Development from Tata Strive. Ms. Namrata Agarwal, Director Partnerships at Quest Alliance. Mr. Rohit Goyal, Global Head Marketing at Sterlite Technologies Limited. Mr. Nixon Joseph, Group Executive Director at Devi Sansthan. Ms. Sarita Upadhyay, the Chief Executive Officer at PACA Foundation. Mr. Vinay R. Sanjeevi, Head Programs at Shiksha’25. This panel is moderated by Mr. Ashutosh Barnwal, Founder and CEO at Buddy for Study. So as you heard, this is going to be a rich panel with a lot of perspectives. Can we please welcome them with another round of applause?
What a lovely audience. So it's very humbling to see so many senior stakeholders here and with a very relevant topic. So to start, so very first, namaskar everyone. I am Ashutosh. I am the founder of Buddy for Study, a platform which I started in 2011, 13 years back, with technology, using technology to solve one of the pressing challenge in education, to simplify scholarship world access for deserving student. Today, more than 1 crore student, I will say 1.2 crore students are engaged on the platform, and more than 1.38 lakh, almost 1.5 lakh unique scholars getting benefits of scholarships as a financial support in their education journey. This nothing happened without technology. So 57% are girls, 25,000 are more than them are orphans, single parent child. 90% of the scholars are coming from non-graduate parents. So what I learned in this journey is technology is the, I will say, enabler who without and giving a purpose with the technology can transform lives. So this is where this topic come for today's how technology, means how education and skilling can use technology as enabler to bring future, to make our youth future ready. So with this, I invite all, before going to questions, I invite all the panels here first. Welcome you all, sir and ma'am, for being with us today in this particular topic. So I request each one of you to start with your own introductions about yourself, very brief, along with a small about your work, what you are doing. So to start with, Sanjeev.
Hello, hi. Hello everyone, my name is Vinay. Start off my journey with Goldman Sachs, but my education experiences begin with Teach for India. I was in the classroom for a couple of years. Masters from Azim Premji University. Then I worked as an academic consultant with Andhra Pradesh state government. I was looking after heading their capacity building initiative for social welfare schools. I'm currently part of Shiksha’25. It's a Bengaluru-based, family philanthropy. We leverage technology to drive large-scale intervention with education leadership at its core. My focus has always been looking at enabling or creating a conducive learning environment by empowering teachers, leaders, and others. Technology is an enabler, like Sir rightly put. Thank you.
So good afternoon, everyone. I'm Nixon Joseph. I'm basically a banker. Put in almost 36 years with State Bank of India. And from 2015, I was deputed to SBI Foundation, which was the CSR arm of State Bank of India. And I continued there because I liked this sector, social sector. I was seeing the changes brought about by SBI Foundation. So I continued there. In 2021, I retired as president of SBI Foundation. And since then, I have been associated with NGOs as well as foundations. I'm both in the CSR and NGO sector. After retirement, I was heading an NGO in Bangalore, which was Children's Love Castle Trust, which was implementing digital STEM education in government schools. After the 3-year assignment there, I shifted to Lucknow, where I am Group Executive Director of Devi Sansthan. Devi is Dignity Education Vision International, where we are implementing foundation literacy, numeracy in government schools all over India. So FLN proficiency, generally it takes 3 to 4 years, but as per the pedagogy which our founder has brought out after 22 years of research, FLN proficiency can be achieved within 45 days. Sounds unbelievable, but then we are able to make people literate and achieve FLN within 45 days. This program has been implemented in more than 17,000 government schools all over India. We have a MOU with Government of UP, Government of Himachal, Government of Jammu, and various other state governments. Our program, Alpha Pedagogy, has been implemented in African countries, South American countries. It has also been studied by Harvard University, and they have given a very good report about the efficacy of this pedagogy. It's called Alpha Pedagogy, Accelerating Learning for All. I am also in the board of S-Bank Foundation, where I'm overseeing the CSR activities of S-Bank Foundation, and also advising Export Bank of India as their CSR consultant. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi everybody, my name is Namrata. I lead partnerships for Quest Alliance. I won't go much about myself, but the work we do, I think, is relevant for this conversation. So we do work in both education and skilling. We work with government schools, secondary schools, class 7 to 10, largely looking at future skills, because we believe that there are skills that most young people will need to thrive as they go on. Things like critical thinking, problem solving. How do you think differently? How do you really become problem solvers rather than us, solving problems for young people? In the skilling space, we also do a lot of work with the ministries, from looking at policy and practicing. How do we bridge this whole gap, right? We're always talking of the skill demand gap. We're always saying that everybody wants people, but there is a lot of unemployment. So how are we really looking at bridging this gap? Looking at a lot of work with educators as well, because we believe, like, while AI can be a great companion, teachers are always relevant and will always be relevant in our country. So we work with about 5,000 schools across multiple states with state governments. We work with about 800 plus industrial training institutes, which is the government ITIs. We also work with a lot of smaller non-profit organizations, as they are able to reach out to organizations and communities that we don't typically reach out to. So happy to be a part of this.
Hello everyone, good afternoon. I'm Rohit Goyal. I lead marketing for Sterlite Technologies. Sterlite Technology is a connectivity solution provider for digital infrastructure. Going into our purpose, so education is very closely related to our purpose, which is transforming billion of lives by connecting the world. So while our products do one part, which is connecting the world, the second part is where we want to contribute to back to the society where we operate in. So that's where we have 4 pillars. One is, planting more trees, afforestation. Second is health. Third is women empowerment, and fourth is education. So under education, there's a lot of focus that our company puts in at the school level, from 5th to 9th education, where we are supporting in Aurangabad, Silvassa, Dadra side, where we have our manufacturing units. We try to bring up the education level there through our small efforts to improve the overall future prospects for the coming generation. Thank you. I will talk about it more in more detail.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Amit Prasad. I'm representing an organization called Hettich. So, more or less, I'm sure that half of you must be using our product at your home also. So, this is Hettich India. But before I introduce in detail, I just want to extend my greetings to CSR World and other panel members, speaker, participants, and everyone. It was wonderful and enriching experience listening everyone. Here I am representing an organization called SPWWI, Hettich Poddar WoodWorking Institute. We are having a state-of-the-art center there, one at Faridabad, another one is there in Mumbai. And under SPWWI, we are working for the skill development for carpenters, right? This is one of the sector in India which has seen a lot of innovation in last decade. But ultimately, at the end of the day, the fitting part is taken care by the woodworking technician only. So if adequate effort is not given in terms of their skilling, this industry will not grow. So SPWWI is in the space wherein we are providing this learning opportunity for them. There are 3 modules that we are running it. One is short-term training program, which is typically a 90 days program, wherein we go to the villagers, mobilize the existing carpenters, ask them to come to our center and then provide the 90 days training program. Another thing that we did it is that we have collaborated with government also, the government ITI. So there is a trade that is called carpentry trade under ITI division. This trade, for this trade we have tied up, mainly this work we are doing in eastern part of India, wherein through government we have revamped the entire academic curriculum, and now we have made it state of the art, and we have adopted total 5 ITIs in eastern part of India. So that is another aspect that we are doing it. So I'm looking forward for this conversation. Thank you.
Thank you so much. My name is Charu Babbar. I work with Tata Strive. A brief introduction about me is that I love designing learning experience programs. I believe that every learner has it in them to learn. However, the environment, however, the mode, and the facilitator or the trainer, they bring in a whole lot of difference to the learning. So my work entails largely ensuring that there's smoothness across all of these factors. Tata Strive is the skilling arm for the TCIT, or the Tata Trust, the Tata Community Initiative Trust. We work under their aegis. The work that Tata Strive does is regarding skilling of the underserved youth. And these youth could be belonging to the urban domain, where they are in the they are living in larger cities and they are living in bigger towns. However, they still don't have what it takes to get into learning something, to become employable. The work also entails us looking at the rural audience. It also entails looking at the people who train these people, are the skilling in the skilling domain, the people who are skilling them. So we believe that any process that you do is strong as much as its weakest link. So the link in this case could be a facilitator who needs to be strengthened. The link could be the environment which needs to be strengthened. So we continuously move towards smoothing those processes. More about it as we go.
Super. Thank you, ma'am.
Hi everyone, my name is Sarita, and for last 20 years I have been scaling and building programs for making youth employable and future ready. Currently I am working with Packer Foundation, CSR arm of Packer Limited. Our focus spans around education, employment and ecology. We are basically nurturing environmentally conscious individuals, citizens, right from their childhood to adulthood. That is our core focus area. And we believe that education system needs to be accessible, inclusive for everyone, and how we can make it is something which we need to innovate every day, every minute, because every time you learn something, you need to basically think about how we are integrating it so that it reaches to the grassroots level. This is what we do at Packer Foundation.
Thank you very much, ma'am, and thank you every panelist here for your brief introductions. So to make this discussion more meaningful and simple for all of the audience here, so we gave 4 questions. The first question is how technology you see is enabling the ideas what you are working upon, the first. The second, what your success story or case study in your own experience, in your own journey, where you see that the technology is actually enabling the education and skilling space. The third, what are the problems and challenges you are forecasting, or what you are already experiencing when you are scaling your idea. And the last one is, what are the opportunities that are opening up for the youth. So to start with, so this is like 4 part of question. To start with, what are the I will say technology, you are seeing technology driving education and scaling in your own space. So anyone can take question from, so this is a common question for the all panel, so that we all get a perspective from different, I will say, social ideas which already are working on ground. So I will invite, say, Rohit from your side the first. Mic is here.
Oh, yeah, thanks. So see, the way I would put it is, I'll take the example of what we are doing. For example, we have a program called RoboEdge, okay? And we feel robotics, AI, coding, cybersecurity, data science, working with these technologies at a young age. You know, people kind of get scared or fear that, you know, I cannot use this. But if kids are using these technologies and not someone just teaching them on a board that this is how it works. First you teach them how it works, what the fundamentals are, and then they use it, they create robots, and we have so many use cases which these kids are creating. So many robots, small robots that they are creating for daily making their life easier on a daily basis. Again, these are models, and these kids are participating in competition, and then it kind of spreads. When one of the kids in the society, you know, has made something, it just gets viral in the entire community, and then more people want to do this. And when they start doing it themselves, then they feel this was not that tough, and then it becomes kind of easier. So that's what
Super.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rohit. Go to Amit sir. How you see technology is playing a role in your in education skilling in your own way?
See, Asutosh, I see the entire skilling, the approach and the orientation should be very holistic in nature. Technology is just the mode. If overemphasis is giving on technology, but before that we have two other aspects. Entire skilling path, once it is not approached holistically, the required output we may not be able to get it. So how do we see it in the work that we are doing it at Hettich? Is that, see, let's take the example, one of the things that we did it is this curriculum. It starts with curriculum. We need to revisit the entire curriculum part, whether it is relevant in today's age or not. So, and another, we are running a program called Tech Academy, wherein our employees, they are going through this BTech course in one of the university at Indore. But it was very simple. But what we did it, how to help the entire skilling part, we reversed. So majority of the time when we talk about internship, Asutosh, this is always students are coming to the industry and they are getting the exposure how the entire work is happening. But it starts one stage before. Faculty member need to come to the industry, see the actual work, how it is happening, because first we need to give them the exposure because they are the custodian, facilitator. So the program we did it, I don't know, but in our company, the faculty member of that respective university, they did 1 month of internship just going through one department to other department, and the feedback is very good, right? Now coming back to technology question. Technology is all about accessibility. So at the end of the day, the mode of technology will always help us to make the skilling and take the skilling to the last mile, right? So there is no doubt about that this is going to help us. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. So technology for us is definitely one very strong pillar on which we base our work. The other two being methodology and the third being pedagogy. So for us, it is not just simply technology because just focusing on that may not really help. When I say technology at Tata Strive, we have tech-enabled systems. We have dashboards which are being created by our technology team for usage of capturing the data, for analyzing it, for ensuring that that data is used smoothly and it gets back into the system with the learnings that you can derive from it. So that is one way in which technology helps us. But the bigger concern is that if you have to touch that last mile learner, how do you use technology? For example, that woman who's a participant in a SHG business, or that youth who shares a device with 3 other people in the family. How do you get that skilling or that learning imparted to them through technology? It's a very big challenge. So what we try to do is we focus on the pedagogy part of it so that they get that in bite-sized learning nuggets, they get that in very short videos, they get it over WhatsApp. We have an LMS, definitely. And our LMS is used primarily for providing standardized curriculum and course content, like you said, that, curricula is very important. So every facilitator gets that curriculum in a standardized manner, so therefore technology is definitely very helpful. But I would rather say that it is one of the pillars, not the only one and not really the strongest. It has to have its, supporting.
Understood, ma'am. Sarita, ma'am.
So I guess, yes, technology is driving education and skilling for sure. Accessibility, as everyone said, is important, and we are getting it through technology. Apart from that, I think personalized learning, which technology is pushing, I think is really, really good, because we are changing mindsets. Right now, I think most of the people, especially in rural and semi-urban areas, still feel that marks are important, degrees are important, and all of this important, and skills are not that important. So everybody is focusing on marks and degrees, but then right now the important thing is basically how are we skilling our youth and children basically, so that they are prepared for future. So that is something which I think is kind of challenge. Apart from that, as I mentioned, mindset. So when we are trying to scale through technology, we need to also work with communities to change their mindset, which is very, very critical. In our case, because we run an institute for compostable packaging, where we have around 250 children, not children but youth basically, we are preparing them for future skills. Technology plays a very, very significant role in getting industry closer to them. Because through which we do industry talks, we do a lot of guest lectures, people are contributing, industry is contributing a lot. Their people are coming on campus, or maybe if they are not coming, then they are doing sessions online, virtual tours. All of this is only possible because of technology. But as everybody is saying since morning, that technology without human intervention is not serving the problem. So that is there.
So just to add, in fact, what Sarita you were saying, technology is, I think, not a challenge now. So it's given, it's there. It's essentially the mindset, who is willing to use that technology. Before this session, Ms. Chaitanya was also referring to that we are a Google generation. Like, I think most of us on this panel are Google generation. But now, even when our kids are using AI for their projects, somewhere in the mind there is some that, they might be lacking on something, or they are taking it too easy, right? So how do we, fight that mindset and make it holistic, that this is, they can do something easy in an easier way, then how that time can be used in a better way for something else. So I think that's a shift that needs to happen. Like internet, laptop, again, not everywhere, but to a large extent it has been covered. But again, there are some areas where it needs to. So that step one of technology is getting sorted. But now how do we move from step one to the step two, which is today's technology, is the next pole to achieve. Yeah.
So Vinay.
I mean, I'm from education, so I want to probably call out a couple of statistics here. In India, even today, we have around 125 million children going to public education system. And as per the latest UDICE 23-24, 1.1 lakh schools in India are still single teacher schools. Very important statistics. While I said the statistics, I'm going to talk about Diksha, which is, or at least the education folks would be aware of it. Digital, public infrastructure where it is created by Government of India, the servers are maintained by NIC, but it's given for states to think of their teacher training. What has enabled is that despite even a teacher being a single teacher in that very school. They don't have to be put outside the school ecosystem to attend the trainings. At the cost of reputation, I'm just telling technology is not the silver bullet, but if it is designed for public system, it shall become the force multiplier. Adding on to what one of the previous speaker from Marico spoke about force multiplier, it is very, very, very relevant. And Diksha, because of how it is also designed, it's not only LMS, but it's also now helping large-scale data collection, which is one of the most tedious tasks of any educator in a government system. Now, Diksha is helping to do that. And even it's also enabling project management. And it now with integration of Bhashini, which is again a Government of India initiative, any lesson that is in any language could be very beautifully translated in spirit and context using Bhashini. So there is 22 scheduled languages. So now technology is becoming, Diksha particularly, is becoming that one-stop shop for addressing this large Indian public education system. The fact is also that, like even our state government of Karnataka holds around 50,000 schools with so many lakhs of teachers, one of the biggest employer to any big internationals you can think of. If a government is looking at such big teachers as their employees, how do we think of skilling? With corporates, it's very simple. We can, maybe not simple, but it's easier because of the scale that we could manage. But lakhs and lakhs of teachers, and I spoke about 125 lakh students are impacted if a teacher is capacitated. And technology is taking that stance. Yeah.
Super, Vinay, thank you. I think Nixon sir, because you already are leading FLN in Devi Sansthan, so if you can share some of your examples of how technology you are using for scaling your solution to the student.
So in FLN becomes very important because even now many reports suggest that 30 to 40% of the students in higher classes are not able to read with understanding or do simple arithmetic problems. So what happens is that when it continues like this, whatever learning happens later, it becomes a waste. Lot of attrition happens in schools, mainly because children are not able to understand the basic concepts. So FLN becomes very, very important. What we have been doing is implementing foundational literacy programs in government schools. So we have designed a pedagogy where within 45 days we can make students FLN proficient. For this, contents have to be prepared. It has to be disseminated to schools. Teachers have to be trained, the capacity building to be done. Afterwards, we conduct a baseline test, and the number of schools are very huge, 17,000 schools now. We are going to reach 30,000 schools within a year. Lot of data to be collected, real-time results to be shared with students and teachers. So all these are possible only because of technology. If not for technology, we won't be able to reach 17,000 schools. In my earlier assignment with another NGO, we had implemented this digital STEM education in more than, I think, 30,000 schools. That also possible because of this assistance from technology. So whatever we are able to do and the scale with which we are able to impact, the way we have been able to make FLN engaging and interesting to students, follow-up and monitoring of teachers through technological interventions. So in all these stages, technology plays a very important role. And I am of the view that, be it education, there is a lot of learning gaps, digital gaps, when it comes to government schools. This can be addressed only with the help of technology, and that's what we are doing.
Thank you, sir. Now, Namrata ma'am, in your Quest Alliance, so how you are using technology? Because I am reading about you are doing so much of research and innovation in tech teaching pedagogy, teaching methodology. So how you are using technology?
Sure. So we've been building technology platforms for almost a decade now. We started very, very early when a lot of people told us that this won't work in government schools, government ITIs. And we've come through our own journey, right? We have an LMS, we have a platform, we have young people enrolled, we have something for teachers. But I think what has shifted for us in the last 2 or 3 years is really this idea of choice, right? We are all making platforms. We're all telling this, that young person saying, come on my platform, learn this, get this certification, come here for internships. I think this idea of using technology to shift choice back to that young person is what we've built right now. So what we've built is saying that what I need to get ahead in life, what you need to get ahead in life, what you need is very, very different, right? It's basically saying, how does Google Maps work? I'm starting here, I want to go there, it gives me a direction. You're starting somewhere else, want to go somewhere else. So that's really what we are building out, saying that can we give the choice back to the young person, saying you choose where your start point is, you choose where your end point is, and technology then helps you get there. So I think that's one of shifting the idea of what is technology doing. I think the second thing that we're exploring, it's still early days, and I was hearing all of us talk, and I think all of us have platforms, all of us have used technology, but it really doesn't matter to that student who's sitting out there, right? If I'm sitting in class 8, I want to learn maths, I want to learn some innovation, I want some internship, I want higher studies, I want a mentor, I want a guide, I want to know where scholarship is available, and eventually I probably want to know where to get a job, where to get a loan to start my own business, right? This person doesn't have all that today, right? Because all of us are working on isolated solutions. What we really need, and something we're exploring today, is to see, can we bring all of this together in the service of that young person, rather than have our own independent solutions, which are all relevant, contextual, important. What we need, and what I think we, as people who are sitting here for change, is to see, can we do a UPI equivalent for that young person, not for our own benefit, but can we do that? So if I come onto a platform and say, आज मुझे scholarship की ज़रूरत है, आज मुझे higher education की ज़रूरत है, today I want to see if I get a small loan to start my business, can I get that? Or, can I just find out where the next college is? I have students come to me and say, I want to study this, I don't know where the college is. मुझे पता नहीं कितनी दूर है, मुझे पता नहीं fees क्या है. So it's really the idea of coming together, I think, and that is really the power that we need to harness. Like you said, it's there. I think the next level is what we really need to now talk about, is coming together in open networks.
Super. Thank you all the panelists for sharing this, how you are using technology. I think everybody has their own learning journey. I think as an organization, we also have a learning journey. And many things what we are doing in previously, maybe on manual ways, on some different collaborations and all, today we are empowered enough with technology, where we are able to do it by ourselves with little resource, with more efficiency, accuracy, and all things. I think technology is giving us those data points so that we can take decisions. Now moving on. So for all the audience to understand, if you can also share one or two case studies or success stories where previously you are doing something by some different methodology, and then you invested, you learned in some way that yes, I think this can be possible with, it's like ChatGPT to write your emails, but is it some tools which you learn upon and you used it in your case, and that can also help other social ventures also, or anyone who are looking for technology as a solution?
So what Tata Strive does, as I explained earlier on, is that we mobilize youth who belong to the certain socio-economic background, who are underserved, and who never got an opportunity to study or therefore become employable. So what we do is we mobilize these students, we bring them into the classroom, we give them placement, and that's how they get employed. But a lot of times we find that placement number becomes a sort of a criteria for success, which we now, over so many years, we've realized that it's very important for retention numbers to be calculated. Placement, you're giving a job to a student, but whether that student or that learner remains in that job after maybe 3-4 months, nobody's tracking. So they've calculated that X number of students have been placed successful. So what we do now is we try to focus, or rather we are really fully and with wholeheartedness focusing on how to make our learners retain in that job. What we've done is that earlier on, when they were getting mobilized, our mobilizers would go to the those areas, get them into the classroom, and get them into a course, skill them, and so on. But of late, and this is about for 5 years back, we experimented with something called Karyapath. This is nothing else but a career counseling in-house tool that has been developed on a very scientific basis, which is based on the Holland Code, if you've heard of it. So there are 6 personality traits that it really throws up. When a learner goes through that particular tool, they get an actual estimate of, it's quite scientifically done, so they get to know whether they are, realistic, or they are entrepreneurial, or they are artistic, and so on. What it does is, when they come into the classroom, it's like a compass, so it doesn't give you the right fit of the course that you should do. However, it points you in the direction of what will give you a lot of satisfaction, what will make you stick into that particular course. So that when the learner comes into a course which is taken through an informed decision, there is more chance of that learner remaining in that program, and then eventually when they are happy, they're satisfied, they're doing something that they're enjoying, that they have the aptitude for, there is more chance of them remaining in that job and therefore having a career. Rather than giving them a job, a first job, we'd like to focus on making them career ready. And that's a use case that I wanted to share with you all.
Thank you, ma'am, for sharing. Anyone else who want to take this?
So this is success. Okay. So in our industry, so typically SPWWI is in furniture fitting industry. So I was just thinking that around 6 months back, I was having a discussion. And that discussion was with my team members and everyone. And the basic discussion was that, and somebody told me that entire furniture fitting industry is very male dominated. I didn't like it, trust me. So this concept of being very male dominated was not correct. Because when we see this entire industry, we see it from the carpenter point of view. But this industry does not end over there. We need designers, we need coder, we need machine operators and all. Then we took up a challenge, right? And then we thought that let's be the first one in the industry to start a female batch. And that journey started. And we started the mobilization. And that mobilization was very difficult. We were going to the nearby villagers, meeting with them, creating a group of female students, taking them to a OEM center just to give them an exposure that what kind of job they can do. Because it was a mindset shift. It is not typical, it was a mindset change. So that exposure we gave them. And after doing this entire process, currently 32 students are undergoing training, all female, the first female batch in the industry, and they are undergoing right now at Faridabad Center. So that is something that we did it. Thank you.
So I'll share a case study of how we've moved from one platform to the other. So a few years back, we were enabling digital infrastructure like internet, TV screens, smart screens for a better mode of education for kids, and in the far-flung areas where it was not that readily available. This is, I'm talking 3 to 5 years back. But in past couple of years, the switch that we've made is we are now focusing a lot of effort on the vocational training. For example, what I spoke about, the program RoboEdge, where a lot of education around robotics, AI is being given to school level kids. And this is, and we can see the pride in the eyes of the kids when they have done something, their parents when they take home those robots that they've made. And in December last year, in fact, some of these kids were so excellent. They participated in global competition, and 9 of them went to Estonia for a global robotics competition which was held by Robotics. So, this was just amazing to see how just a simple enablement at grassroots level, and we just did a small thing, and how they were able to reach the skies.
Thank you, Rohit. I think we should move forward. So I invite Vinay to share. So what are the challenges you see in implementation of technology and how you have seen that in long scale? Because I spoke to you yesterday that you are working for 7 state governments, thousands of government schools. So can you share some challenges you see in implementing such ideas in scale?
One, definitely, I mean, we have been talking about how the word digital divide, we have surpassed it. I think we have spoken enough before COVID, but it's still relevant. Although we talk about how technology has been addressing or creating access for reach, but the challenge is also about reaching every student in the country. We are still in a place where getting technology and getting teachers to use technology, especially in northeastern zone and also in many rural parts of the country, has been very, very difficult. We spoke about how 4G has made that huge leap of high internet penetration that's there, and ChatGPT is accelerating that growth, that is also there. But still, there are, ma'am also spoke about how there is only one mobile phone that is available for a home. So maybe if there are 3 or 4 children, there's only one device, and usually who gets a preference? A boy, or maybe someone who is attending a board exam. So there are still such issues, despite we're using technology for addressing teacher training needs and probably helping school leaders and other leaders in education system get access to data or data visualization, monitoring, evaluation. All of that is great, but still reaching the last mile user has been a challenge. Another challenge I would like to also call out is the stance of standardization. Because it is developed on a technology platform, we tend to standardize a lot of things. In India, specifically in education context, right, the diversity is huge. We are finding it very difficult for having one tech solution that probably suiting the needs of everyone. The earlier speaker, the ma'am who started, she also spoke about the solution that fits urban Bangalore definitely will not fit a rural, any rural part of even Karnataka as well. So how does technology is able to cater to that kind of a diversity? And contextualization is still a challenge. We are trying to address it. A lot of innovations are happening for sure, but I don't think we have even barely scratched the surface. We are also talking about digital fluency. While this is helping for at least the youth to think of, create their own learning journeys, but is it even providing the switch ability for them to think of career aspiration that they would want to? We have been quoting statistics that are good enough to be quoted, but there is still a lot of darker side that is yet to be explored. So while technology is definitely an enabler, but I think it also comes with its challenges. Using technology in itself is not a challenge, but how do we leverage technology to ensure last mile usage, ensure that is relevant and meaningful to every user is still something we need to explore.
Thank you, Vinay. Namrata ma'am, from your side, any challenge you are foreseeing or you are experiencing to implement these ideas at scale?
I think one thing is, at least with young people, I feel like they have a lot of options today, right? Some of the things that we developed are sometimes boring. Like if I go into a classroom and say that, how many of you have seen like our platform, which is MyQuest, some hands will go up. But if I ask how many of you are on Instagram and do reels, pretty much 95% of the hands go up, right? So how do we meet the learner where they are? And I think we have to change our own mindsets about how do we use technology, because it is getting easier, it is getting friendly for most young people. So they would rather go to a ChatGPT and Instagram than say go to an LMS for that sort. So I think that is one, how do we keep in tune with the changing times and the way people are learning. It's nice for us to say ki we want to, learning has to happen in depth and has to happen over a period of time, but young people the attention span is reducing. And that's a fine balance, right? And I don't know if any of us have answers, but that's really something one needs to solve for. We're also trying to find that. I think the other thing that we're also looking at is what is the intrinsic motivation for someone to use technology, right? You can get them on the platform, or you can get them on the LMS, they can come, but usually it's like, and especially if you're working in a government ecosystem, you're working with teachers, the idea is if my principal, my district education officer, my block officer, no one is looking at this, then why should I even use it, right? And if you remove that away, if you say ki koi nahi dekh raha hai isko, but this is good, right? Does that even work? And I think that's where we're trying to say that technology, I think we can do a lot of things. I think the options are unparalleled. It is moving at such a rapid pace. One is to keep pace with it, but second is also to keep pace with how is that person at the other side who's using technology thinking about it. And I think fundamentally the challenge is, I think scale we can do, we can develop products, content is just getting faster and faster. But I think that's the balance I feel like we are trying to solve for.
Thank you, Namrata ma'am, for sharing. And Nixon sir, from your side, any challenge you are foreseeing to implement these ideas at scale?
So one main issue which we have observed is that getting approvals from government authorities to implement this program is a long process. And second thing which I have observed is that when we implement programs in government schools, many of the teachers find it is an additional burden or another intervention from another organization. So it starts with some negative thoughts only. And third is most of this infrastructure which is given, smart TVs, etc. In some schools they are locked and kept in the headmaster's room. Therefore, though the donor feels that we have given infrastructure to schools and all, these are not used. That is one thing which we have observed. Third is we have to follow up continuously with the schools where we are intervening. Otherwise, all these, once we exit, it won't be there at all. It will remain, it will be just a memory. So continuous monitoring is required. Though we tell education department has to be involved to be sustainable and all. Lot of transfers there, lot of people with different ideas, lot of interventions by various organizations, as an earlier speaker was telling. Lot of organizations doing lot of technological interventions in isolated way. So all these create challenges for the schools also. And then even collecting data also, most of the teachers or education department, they would like to show a better results for their classes, schools, etc. Therefore, there also some kind of data impurity steps in, where we have observed that when we conduct tests and all, the teachers themselves get involved and give answers, or they help the children and all. So the data we obtain may not be real. It has happened in so many schools collectively, I have observed. So what happens is the data we are deciding on all these, that itself is false data. So these are the challenges which we have observed while implementing programs.
Thank you, Nixon sir. I think to move forward, because so in the last part, the opportunities you feel, we discussed about the ways technology are helping us, organizations, data collections, tracking, and all of these. So what are the opportunities you feel? So I will ask that side of the panel, because you do see that Indian youth for becoming a future ready. So what are the opportunities created because of technology in place, and how they should proceed on this direction?
So for us, when we look at how to integrate technology into our into the youth who comes to us, into the programs that we develop for them, so that they can be better equipped when they go into the job. The moot question is that whether we like it or not, technology has changed the way workplaces are evolving. There are a lot of jobs, there are a lot of times when learners, and in our case is the blue-collared worker, who will go there and might realize that of the 6 processes, for him or her, 4 are redundant because they've been taken over by technology. So how do we prepare them for that workplace? That is a very, very big open space. We need to equip the facilitators or the instructors, because there the mindset also has to be shifted. How they have to bring about technology into the classroom, how they have to convey to that learner that, hey, whether you like it or not, you have to be ready for it. You may not have a device right now, but when you go into the workplace, you will work with devices, you will work with technology. There is a whole lot of work that needs to be done in that space.
Sure, ma'am. Sarita ma'am, from your side.
I would say that entire ecosystem has to develop. So it's not about just technology. Technology is an enabler, right? We need to, right now what is happening is, as Namrata rightly mentioned, that youth has a lot of information and choices. And I think it is really nice, because at my age I did not get those choices so to build my career. So I think right now what is happening with these kids, they have options, they have choices, and workplaces are evolving. They can learn anywhere, anytime, those kind of flexibility they have. So they should leverage that for sure. And as us as a society, I think we need to change our mindset, and we need to work more about how are we basically pushing these micro learnings, skill building, all of that, apart from just degrees, diplomas, and gathering all that in your kitty. So I think if we do that, technology is going to help us a lot.
Super. Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else who want to take this question? So the opportunities the technology is adding.
So from our side, on the opportunity side, essentially, see, we are looking at, say, 5,000 students right now. But how do you take it to 50,000 and 5 lakh, right? That takes a lot of scale, a lot of bandwidth from our side, a lot of bandwidth resources on ground, right? So how do you scale it at India level? So that's something which is a challenge as well as an opportunity. So maybe a lot of forces need to come together, and so that's a deeper question, essentially, what I feel currently.
Thank you. I think Nixon sir, Vinay, if you want to add, or Namrata, if you want to add. Yeah. So I think this comes to a conclusion of this. So I'm very happy and thank you all the panelists for sharing your very inspiring perspectives on this very interesting and important topic. That technology is enabling, but again, there is just so many other things which we also need to work upon. So I just want to share this, that our youth are not just preparing for jobs, but we also need to give them a mindset, because they will be owning the Bharat Bhagya Vidhata. They need to become the Bharat Bhagya Vidhata, the makers of India's destiny. And definitely we all are in a learning curve. We all are learning. When I am learning, today is my first moderator panel. I was so nervous yesterday night, and then my friend Ashish helped me. So, but in this, what I realized is like one of the Kabira Duha, Dheere Dheere Re Mana, Dheere Sab Kuch Hoye, Mali Siiche Sau Ghada, Ritu Ai Phal Hoye. So we all are the Malis in this journey to give our bucket of water to the next generation and to make them a future ready. And this is a very long way to go. So somebody starts from class 1, somebody starts from class 10, and we all need to be on the space, on this technology space, so that we can bring this Bharat into a prosperous country where GDP per capita is very small, etc. So, and I congratulate the whole panel, and thank you for being so wonderful audience. A huge round of applause for you and for the panelists, and for SICA’25 for inviting us together here. Thank you very much. Yeah.
One small question, can I just
Yeah.
short question?
Yes, sir.
I really like what Namrata said about the ability of integration with the different technologies everywhere. In isolation, everybody is doing excellent work. And what Charu also said about the technology, what she is using to mentor the students for higher education or sustainability for the placement of jobs. My question to the entire panel is that when do we have that integration issue, and could we use tools like what Tata Strive has done? Would Tata Strive share that tool with all of us, because we are also in a similar space? I mean, it's a general question. And whether this so-called integration is possible, because these 8-9 minds on the table today, if you all get together, I mean, the impact could be huge. And the collaborative issue, which I think is the name of the game, which is what we should really focus on.
So to answer your question, we have an entire division called ecosystem strengthening, which is just for the purpose which has been developed or is established for the very purpose of whatever findings we've derived, whatever we are working on, we would be very happy to share with the entire ecosystem in skilling. So definitely technology being a very, very big enabler for us, I'm sure that there are ways in which we could partner, definitely.
Just to add to that, I think all of us are open to sharing whatever we have. I don't think anyone's saying that we don't want to share. We work closely with Tata Strive, our content is free. I think the issue sometimes comes with a lot of it is like, ye to hum bhi kar rahe hai, or saying, oh, I have, like you were saying, right, we only have so much capacity, how can I do more? What it's needed, and I think some early work has started by people who actually were behind Aadhaar, to see if we can build this open infrastructure. There is some experimentation going on, it's very, very early, but there is some thought process coming in saying, how do we build an Aadhaar-like infrastructure for young people that they can get what they want? So some work is starting, it also needs that anchor body who can think like that. So some of that hopefully will come, see the light of the day. Soon, I don't know, we'll see.
So I think with technology, it's easy to collaborate with APIs without even meeting in person. the APIs can transfer from one platform to another platform to a network, and then I think everything can come, because it's rightly said, one cannot create everything. And it's needed a whole village to educate a child. So I think we all in the same space. We need everyone, all the, I will say, all the agency, all the implementing partner, all the stakeholders together on this space. And technology is an enabler. So thank you very much again, once again for the panel, and thank you for all. Thank you all.
Please stay back. I'd request the speakers to please stay back, and Ashutosh ji, please. I'd invite Ashish and Ruchika to felicitate our speakers. And I don't know, Ashutosh ji, why were you nervous yesterday for the panel? Because, I mean, there are few people who do technology better. I mean, Buddy for Study has directly benefited close to 1.5 lakh students through its platform. So that's amazing work they have done. Why is it so quiet in here? Can we have some applause? And a special thank you goes to the moderator and the speakers, because there are so many speakers here, each one of them an expert, but they completed the discussion in such a crisp and concise manner. They didn't extend the session, for which we are grateful. Everyone's hungry, yes. Yes. Mr. Joseph Nixon has been an early supporter and our mentor, and we are deeply grateful for his support to the CSR universe. Thank you, everyone. Oh, yes, please. Let's have a group photo. अरे जो मैं करूँगा बहुत कम जगह है. Thank you everyone for joining us. Before we break for lunch, we have a quick round of announcements regarding our exhibitors, and there are some really exciting innovations that are there in the social impact space. Please take a few minutes to engage with them during lunch and networking. We have ISDM Data Shakti, Urdavam Environmental Technologies, PACA Foundation, Envirocarbon Engineering, Yuj CSR, Doc Online Health India Private Limited, Buddy for Study, Give Me Trees, EcoWork, Vrindavan Heritage Towers, Light of Life Trust, I Am Pact, Babel Foundation, SMV Collections, and TCU Impact Foundation. It's Babel Foundation. Okay. So, And please try to be back by 2:10 because we would begin sharp at 2:15. The next panel discussion begins at 2:15 on water management and WASH. That would be followed by a panel discussion on rural development. And then we have our jury session and policy panel, where we would be joined by MPs from across India. See you after lunch, ladies and gentlemen.